Hi everyone and welcome to my channel. After I have posted my first Nutella video, many of you asked how you can turn the Nutella into keto-friendly Nutella. So I'm gonna show you how, and I've also changed a few things over the past few months, which I'm gonna share with you as well. Let's start by roasting some raw hazelnuts. This is important because roasting enhances the hazelnut flavor and allows any excess water to evaporate. Of course, if you want to keep this Nutella raw, just skip the roasting and use raw hazelnuts. The bonus of roasting hazelnuts is that you can then also remove the somewhat bitter hazelnut skins. I usually roast the hazelnuts at 350 degrees Fahrenheit for about 15 minutes or until the skins have darkened and are starting to peel away from the nut. To remove the skins, transfer the roasted hazelnuts onto a clean kitchen towel, gather the corners and closing the hazelnuts, and then wrap the hazelnuts for 1 to 2 minutes until the skins have fallen off. Don't worry about the skins that do not come off and just add the hazelnuts into a heavy-duty food processor. Now, there's more than one way to peel hazelnuts. You might have heard about boiling hazelnuts in water and baking soda, but it's not ideal for this recipe because the less moisture we have, the better. I will explain why in a little bit. Process the hazelnuts for a few minutes until they turn into a completely smooth hazelnut butter. A good way to tell you're at the right consistency when processing the nuts is when the nut butter starts having an almost oily, sleek, or shiny surface. Depending on your food processor, this should take anywhere from 5 to 15 minutes. If you have a high-speed blender like Vitamix, you can use that as well. I just find that in the initial stages of making nut butter, using a food processor is a bit easier. When your hazelnut butter is ready, add some cashews. You can skip the cashews, but since there is skim milk in the original Nutella recipe, you want to bring some of the creaminess back. Cocoa powder and a powdered sweetener. I'm using powdered monk fruit sweetener, which works so well in this recipe. You want to use powdered sweetener because sugar doesn't dissolve in fat, nut butters included. So your Nutella will only be as smooth or grainy as the sweetener you use. As far as liquid sweeteners go, such as maple syrup, I don't recommend using them in this recipe. The reason is that nut butters are fat-based, whereas liquid sweeteners are water-based. Since oil and water do not mix well, the addition of a liquid sweetener causes the nut butter to seize up. The last ingredient is sunflower lecithin. The reason I'm using it in this recipe is, number one, to boost the nutritional value of this recipe because sunflower lecithin has lots of health benefits, but even more importantly, sunflower lecithin keeps all the ingredients from separating as the Nutella sits in the fridge, and it also increases smoothness. Once all the ingredients are in the food processor, blend again. If you don't add any other ingredients in this recipe, the Nutella will be quite thin. If you want the texture to be thicker, like store-bought Nutella, you will need to add a few tablespoons of coconut oil and also melted dark chocolate. I add both these ingredients when I make this for my husband because they do thicken the Nutella. If you're wondering about the exact amounts of ingredients I'm using, I will have a link to the recipe in the description box below this video. And that's it, homemade Nutella that is not only vegan and keto-friendly, but also incredibly delicious. This Nutella recipe is one of those recipes where Tanner and I don't agree on the final result. So I prefer Nutella with a little bit less sweetener, less cocoa powder because I can detect the hazelnut butter more and I love hazelnut butter. Tanner prefers Nutella with more sweetener, more cocoa powder, more coconut oil because it resembles the original Nutella recipe a little more.
You put this on some bananas or a crepe.
Or pancakes.
Like those really thin pancakes, and typically I would buy this for my sister-in-law,
Yes.
Petra's sister, and then eat the whole jar. So I would not be able to distinguish between this and the other Nutella. Maybe that's not true. I think that this is thicker than the original Nutella. The original Nutella kind of like smooths out and it thins out as it goes across your palate. This is thick all the way through and it's delicious. So make it.
Alright, so I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give me a thumbs up, comment below, subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you next time.